Hello, my name is Jayson, aka the new Constantine, and I'm here to help usher in a new spiritual system. Have you noticed that women are starting to take over in the roles that men used to play? Or have you heard that the Pope dropped the title of the Vicar of Christ? And hopefully by now you understand that at any time we can have a global economic collapse that ushers us into a cashless global society. So what in the world is really going on? The systems that govern this physical 3D reality are evolving to match the energy of the age that we're moving into. The Christ concept exists in every astrological age. It just evolves to reflect the energy of the age that it's in. Christianity has passed its adolescence. It's at the point that it must mature. I'm calling for a new Christianity. I am the new Constantine.
First of all, why am I in the middle of a cornfield? Because I live in Indiana.
That's right, home of Michael Jayson, Babyface, and that guy that hosted Double Dare.
Number two, why do I call myself the new Constantine? Well, I was born the same day as Constantine the Great.
You know Constantine, the first Christian king whose authority helped us define who and what God was in the age of Pisces, and he most likely helped to give us a blueprint for what we know to be the Bible today.
We are at a pivotal point in time right now. We are at a time where the age of Pisces is giving over its energy to the age of Aquarius. It's kind of like a relay race. When you watch a relay race and you see the first runner running with the baton, and you see a runner in the distance waiting for the passing of that same baton. In that race, there's a moment where both the passer and the receiver both have their hand on the baton. That connection, that point is where we are. We are in a point in time where the age of Pisces is giving over its power and its energy to the age of Aquarius.
Now wait a minute, you're probably thinking, I'm a Christian, this is not my belief. What does the age of Aquarius and the age of Pisces have to do with me? Now you only say that because you don't know that your Bible is based on the astrological. Now let's open this door. Now what I'm about to say is going to be hard for some of you to receive, but the age of Aquarius represents the age of enlightenment and truth. During this next 2,100 plus year cycle, humanity will shift away from faith-based religions to factual-based belief systems. The old Christian system that we're moving away from has its foundation in the following. Starting from around June 20th to December 21st, the sun from the perspective of the northern hemisphere appears to move south. This illusion happens because of the Earth's tilt. And from the northern perspective, the sun appears to get smaller and further away. The days also begin to get shorter and the darkness of the night begins to lengthen. This motion in turn brings about the seasons of fall and winter. The leaves on the trees fall to the ground and fade away. The vegetations and crops of the field do the same thing. Now historically, this was the time, according to the ancients, that the sun, the sun, was said to be dying. Now this process continues until something miraculous happens. On December 21st, during the time of the winter solstice, the sun, the sun, stands still. It appears to stop moving and neither moves further south or north, but it stays in the same position for 3 days. It is said in the times of the ancient, at this time, the sun is dead. And if you look up in the sky from the perspective of the northern hemisphere, you can locate the sun in the vicinity of the constellation called the Southern Crux, or the Southern Cross. So to simplify, on December 21st, the sun, the sun, dies and is hung on the cross and is dead for 3 days. Now, does that story sound familiar? And can you guess what's next? That's right, the resurrection. Now, before the sun resurrects and begins his northern ascension back into the sky, around December 24th, the location of the sun's birth is pointed to by a line of 4 bright stars. One of these stars is the brightest star in the sky, and its name is Sirius. The other 3 stars are the same 3 stars that are found in Orion's belt, and their names are the 3 kings. This means that the 3 kings follow the eastern star until it comes to rest over the birthplace of the sun, the sun, that is. The reason why we celebrate December 25th as the birthday of Jesus Christ is because on December 25th, the sun resurrects 1 degree, and the days from that time on begin to get longer and longer each day. Christmas is actually the birthday of the sun, the actual physical sun in the sky. There have been different solar deities or sun gods that have been celebrated on December 25th, way before the time of Jesus Christ. Another important constellation that's present on the sun's birthday, December 25th, is the constellation Virgo. Now, the name Virgo in Latin literally means virgin. So it can be said on December 25th, the sun is born of a virgin. Virgo is also referred to as the house of bread. Virgo is depicted as a virgin holding a sheaf of wheat. She represents the season of harvest, the months of August and September. The word Bethlehem in Hebrew literally translates to the house of bread. So now we can say that the sun on December 25th is born of a virgin in Bethlehem in the house of bread. Also, another important constellation that is present during the birth of the sun is the constellation called Precipice. The word Precipice literally means manger. Now we can say that the sun on December 25th is born in a manger. Now let's recap. So we can now say that the sun, the actual physical sun in the sky, on December 25th is born of a virgin in Bethlehem in a manger. The 3 kings in the east follow the brightest star in the sky as it points them to the birthplace of the sun, the sun, the light of the world. We can also say that the sun, the physical sun in the sky, actually dies and is hung on the cross and is dead for 3 days and resurrects on the 3rd day, which happens to be December 25th, Christmas, the day that we universally celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, the son of God. Now you see that the foundation for the belief of Christianity is an allegory of the story of the sun as it travels through the path of the zodiac. This path is actually illustrated in a symbol that we refer to as the cross of the zodiac. It is a picture of a cross in front of a sun surrounded by the 12 disciples. Darn it, did I say 12 disciples? I meant 12 zodiac signs. Or is it the same thing? As you can see, there's a lot of other nuances that we don't have time to tap into at this moment. However, the shorthand symbol for the cross of the zodiac looks like this. Now, you've probably seen this symbol behind the heads of saints and pictures, and even Jesus Christ himself. And probably this thought was a cross with a halo. Now, after the cognitive dissonance sets in relation to the truth that I just told you, and you go back to your churches to worship, please do note the day that you're worshiping on. Is it not named Sunday? The name Sunday literally means day of the sun and was named in honor of the sun and worship in relations to the sun. Now, from December 25th to March 20th, the sun makes its ascension back into the northern hemisphere. This brings on the seasons of spring and summer. Now, finally, the church celebrates the resurrection on Easter. Easter is always tied to the spring equinox. The spring equinox is the time of year in which the daylight finally catches up to the darkness, and it's on this day that you have an even amount of both light and dark. This time of duality is a momentum shift, for the light finally overcomes the darkness and the days finally become longer than the nights. Easter is always the first Sunday after the spring equinox. The ancients celebrated the spring equinox as a time of rebirth, resurrection, and new harvest. This is the reason why the church celebrates the resurrection of the SON on Easter. Sometimes Easter even falls on the equinox.
You are literally energy. That's not a belief, that's not a religion, that is a fact. You are made out of energy, and energy is potential. What is potential? Potential is the ability to do. That means that you are literally ability. What would happen if we removed the middleman? What I do believe is that everything comes from consciousness and outside of physical matter being just energy slowed down to a rate of speed that we perceive it with our minds as being physical or dense. Outside of that, I believe there is consciousness, and that all this physical reality is a manifestation of divine consciousness. You, me, the trees, the wind, the grass, the animals, everything. One of the first laws of thermodynamics is that energy is not created and energy is not destroyed. It simply transforms from one state to another. And if energy is never destroyed and energy is never created, the energy that you are made out of is eternal. We are calling for a new spiritual system, one that marries both science and spirituality. Energetically, you are eternal. By definition, the concept of nothing does not exist. There has always been something. It's time to reprogram our understanding.
Join me for part 2 as we dive into the rise of the divine feminine principle. Do you know that the longest captive slave is not the black man, but women of all races? What was Christianity originally before man changed the image of God into a man? Join me to find out. Listen, if you like what you hear, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and also hit that like button. Come back every week for new content. And please understand, this physical world that we live in is evolving. You can either get stuck in the old mythology or you can evolve with it. Let me be your guide. I want to thank you for your time.
Jayson Aaron? Huh.
refreshing. I will have a sip.